Hello, collective. You're in for a treat today because we have Stephanie here to talk about what her current project is and how she's moving through that. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Good. How are you, Elizabeth?
Good. All right, so tell us, what are you currently working on?
So I'm currently working on a contemporary romance series, and it's going to be centered around a cafe in a small town in Colorado, inspired by, of course, where I live in Colorado in a small mountain town and just love the Colorado mountains. But then a little influence of New York City, um, about a marketing executive who's moving from the big city to the small town, and lots of interesting adventures with her current love interest, which only lasts for so long because another love interest comes along. And the series will feature different characters, and they'll be standalone, but also some interconnectedness. So I'm really excited about this. It's a new journey for me into fiction and contemporary romance. I've been an avid romance reader, but now I want to give the writing a try, especially after doing some nonfiction work.
Is that what inspired you to start this project, your interest in other romance work, or what made you decide now's my time to like throw my iron in the fire?
So I've loved my work in nonfiction, doing projects where I'm offering guidance and advice. And not only is it my enjoyment of reading contemporary romance, but it's also the fact that a few years ago I had a very significant anxiety attack, and I wasn't able to really dive into a lot of intense fiction books that I used to
Mm.
really enjoy. And so it was the romance books that allowed me to still enjoy reading, but having that promise of a happily ever after was just really nice to know that that was coming at the end. And so that really helped me. And I really feel like I can help others through integrating aspects of my life experience into romance books.
Oh my God, I love that, Stephanie. I mean, that could not be more true that sometimes you just need like a beach read when life gets really tough and you need something like that is going to be predictably happy at the end.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I don't know that I've ever like realized that that was one of the maybe motivations for writers within that genre, but I think that's amazing. Where are you at currently with the project?
So I have the entire first book outlined, Act One, Act Two, Act Three, and I'm jumping into really describing who my characters are. I like to describe it as having sort of a coffee chat with my characters, where I imagine that I'm having coffee with them and what questions would I
Mm.
ask them, and really diving into, what are their motivations, what are their interests, why are they doing what they're doing, and each stage of the book. And then I'm getting into writing the dialogue and imagining scenes, and really just a lot of it right now is just sitting down and giving myself a time frame. Usually 15-minute sprints kind of work pretty well for me,
Mm.
because then I can be really concentrated and then I can take a break and just focusing on writing and getting the words on the page, and trying not to be my perfectionist self and wanting to go back and edit myself as I'm going. I'm just jumping in and writing and getting words on the page, and I'll go back later, but right now it's just
Mhm.
getting the story out on paper.
Yeah, I think that's called something like the Pomodoro method or something, where you set like I've heard like a 15 or 20-minute timer, and then you force yourself to take like that 5-minute break in between, and also to not go ahead and start editing, like just letting it free flow.
Yeah, I
That's
think
very
you're right. I
cool.
think that's what it's called.
That was the same method that I was encouraged to use in my like 30-day writing challenge. And I found it to be helpful for just getting words on the screen.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What have you found has been your greatest challenge, either from migrating from nonfiction writing to fiction writing or with this project in particular?
I think really the greatest challenge for me is always finding time to write. I feel like life has a way of happening. And I mean, we all have that. And so I think one of the greatest challenges is finding time. And then in addition to that, it's just shifting my brain into the characters and imagining the
Mm.
characters as opposed to just coming from, my own knowledge and my own, experience and professional life that I've put, in the nonfiction writing that I've done. So that's been a shift, but it's been a welcome shift of thinking for sure.
Do you find that you've put a piece of yourself into each character, or do you have certain characters that are you've created because they're so different from you?
I think there's definitely a lot of me in the characters, but then also a little bit of, you know, family members that, you know, how they say, like, be careful how you are. I don't, but you might end up in the book. But no, I mean, it just, life experience, just, different interactions I've had with people, but they're definitely I'm definitely going to be incorporating aspects of myself into it, especially with my own struggles with anxiety and that being an aspect of characters or all of that. So there's definitely that inspiration.
And what are your plans for publishing this when you're done with it?
I'm definitely planning to self-publish. Uh, and I'm, I might try my hand at, you know, presenting it to traditional publishers, but right now, since I self-published before, I'm focusing on going the self-publishing route.
And from what I understand, that's a huge trend within your genre is to go the self-publishing route because of the amount of time the traditional publishing takes. It sounds like that's a very like normal trend within your genre. Um,
Yes,
if that makes
there's
sense.
definitely a lot of romance that's self-published, and yeah, it's a very there's a lot going on with self-publishing with romance.
And then what are your visions for your project long term? Will it be a series?
Yes, it'll be a three. Right now, the plan is for this one to be a three-book series. So there are three specific characters that I already have in mind that each book will be featured around. And then, my plan is to, of course, promote it, put it out there. Um, and then I'd also, as part of my work, hope to be able to coach and help others who want to write romance to follow this journey and follow it through from beginning to end in the same way that I'm learning, and then be able to share that and teach that to others. So that's what I'm hoping to do as well. And I since I follow a lot of romance authors on different platforms, I'd love to be able to have my books where I can go and do signings, secret signings, and leave signed copies wherever I travel to. And so that's another vision I have for myself.
That's so fun. I know members in our community who are starting their fiction writing will love being able to watch you kind of step through from like this beginning to end sort of process and being able to watch you go from outline to draft to edits. That'll be really good insight for those in our community here that are like just starting out with like a creative concept and trying to get that to a finished product.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for chatting with us today. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, not for today. Just I encourage everybody to get busy writing and enjoy.